Alrighty, and I'm waiting for visual confirmation of our live stream, and it looks like we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Mining Market Signal. My name is Seth, and you are watching Mine Your Biz. As if you really needed me to say that. Let me jump right out of the way and show you the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. And in case you're wondering, yes, we are jumping directly into our reports tonight. Feel free to leave comments. We are live, so I will check your comments and I will respond and we can interact, but I will be moving a little more quickly through tonight's content so we can get to the meat and potatoes, showing, demonstrating clearly with data, with freely available information that you can see down in the description of this video, showing how Ethereum is not deflationary. It's not deflating as predicted post EIP 1559. Yes, our mining profit's going down a little bit, but it's not deflationary. Not by a long shot, not yet. Everyone keeps on talking about how it's deflating, and it's just not true. But let's take a look at the market sentiment. We got a current score of 70, which is greed. Let me refresh because it's past the time of day where it would be. Oh my gosh! Right before our eyes, we are finally breaking through to extreme greed. Booyah! Yes, extreme greed. Guys, this is breaking. We've moved up. We were moving sideways as far as the market sentiment for several days. People were starting to get a little bit a little bit too comfortable hanging out in sort of either a neutral position or looking at sort of a maybe quasi greedy position. But you see it right here. We are finally in the territory of extreme greed. So yeah, let's take a closer look at some of the metrics that inform how this is happening, right? How people are getting so excited about Bitcoin and especially Ethereum right now, what the emission rates are, what the gas fees are, what the velocity is. It's just, we're going to see a lot as we look into that. Let me check our live comments right now. We got Gordon and Nicholas who are live with us right now. Thanks for saying hello. He says, loved seeing you on Around the Blockchain today. I appreciate you saying that. I was over on BitBoy's show Around the Blockchain earlier today. You should definitely go check it out. You'll see a link over in the community tab of this channel. Kevin Hawthorne is here as well. It's so great to see you, Kevin. Thanks for being here with us tonight. Let me jump out of here. I usually use this as a counter indicator. We're finally into extreme greed, which for me, without giving any kind of, business, legal, financial, or other advice, that for me kind of spells caution. That's how I view that. I don't get overly excited when I see that everybody else is excited. It kind of helps me feel like, okay, I've got to chill out. I've really got to chill out. There are not if everybody's moving that way, I kind of want to see what's over here instead, right? When they zig, I zag, and vice versa. Krabby Chrono says, how is there not thousands watching right now? Well, I appreciate you saying that, guys. And I appreciate you who are here live right now, hitting the thumbs up and sharing this video live so we get more comments here together that I can respond to, that you can respond to, that we can help answer and foster a sense of community. Guys, sharing is caring. And we do it right here. We show great examples of it right here on Mine Your Biz in the live comments. We try to be good citizens and we help each other out. So thanks for sharing that. Thanks for helping to answer questions as they come up as well. But this is our Fear and Greed Index right now. We popped up towards this territory a few days ago, about a week ago. Here we are at a score of 76, definitely extreme greed. And this is where, for me, again, I hear caution bells. I hear caution sirens. Not telling you what to do, but for me, I'm on guard now. Like, okay, I don't know. Maybe I need to come up with some kind of a strategy for averaging out of certain positions within cryptocurrency. Again, you do you. That's how I'm thinking. Over on txstreet.com, if you don't know about this tool, well, there's a link down in the description of this video. txstreet.com shows that we are currently at a median contract fee on Ethereum of $29.30. This is dynamic. You'll see the real-time changes right there. And it is going down. Just a couple of minutes ago, the median contract fee was about $40 US, which is unbelievable. This basically means if you're sending any kind of a stable coin, any kind of an ERC20 token or NFTs, anything else that requires you to initiate a smart contract and maybe do multiple passes of signing or approving and then signing and then sending, that you're going to pay almost this much to initiate that contract. It's a bit more than if you're just sending ETH, right? Or Ether. The median Ether transfer fee is $3.76. This too is an extremely high rate. Vitalik Buterin years ago has gone on record as saying that it shouldn't cost this much. It should cost pennies. But here we are. And this just kind of shows you all these transactions are all these little characters right here. If you haven't used this tool before, all these little characters right here that look kind of like South Park characters, these all represent transactions on the Ethereum blockchain. This bus here represents a block that's being prepared to be written into the Ethereum blockchain. It's being restructured right now by miners in the gas fee system and trying to figure out exactly which block to put it into. You notice how they hop out of one bus and they move into another bus because they want to pay lower fees. Anybody who's unwilling to pay the 46 GWE to be included in this most current block, they're going to be pushed back to an upcoming block where maybe the gas fees are lower. And that is really a function of what the users are willing to spend, right? These gas fees are dynamic. It's a marketplace. Miners benefit from it and traders benefit from it too, because if they're willing to pay a higher gas fee to be included faster, then they're able to execute their trades faster than their competitors, and they get the rates that they want in order to execute either longs or shorts or whatever it is they're going to do. Limit orders on tools like 1-inch DEX that allows you to submit limit orders now. It's very, very powerful. It's happening in the permissionless DeFi space. But we see that real time here represented by these little South Park looking characters over on txstreet.com. That's why we look at this every time we do the mining market signal on this channel. But almost $30 to execute a contract on Ethereum right now, almost $4 just to send Ether. That's it, just to send Ether. It's a lot by most people's measure. Taking a look over on Bitcoin on the other side, or on the other hand right here, the mempool is pretty backed up. It looks like there are about almost 2,300 transactions waiting to go through on the Bitcoin mempool. And the median fee for sending a Bitcoin transaction is currently 75 cents. That's higher than we've seen it in many, many days, really a few weeks. We've seen it as low as 20 some odd cents, 21, 23 cents. And now we're seeing it all the way up at 78 cents. It just popped up right before our eyes, right? It was 75 just a second ago. But both of these, of course, are dynamic, right? They're dynamic marketplaces that help people's transactions go through faster, or they get pushed through slower for less or lower fees. So take your pick, right? Go through faster, but pay for it. Wait a little while, but pay less. And in Ethereum right now, because there's so much DeFi happening, right? Between Uniswap and Curve and all these other platforms, people are very anxious to see their trades go through as fast as possible. So they're willing to spend a little bit more. And we as GPU miners, we benefit. The more fees they're willing to spend, the higher our profits are. And EIP 1559 doesn't change that. There's now a tipping system and there's maximum extractable value. So even though the base block reward for mining has gone down, there are still more rewards being given to miners, and there are more rewards being generated per block based on these new systems of tipping, right? So as well as MEV. So there are new blocks or new Ether being generated, and it's not nearly as deflationary as the proponents would have you believe. Further, if it were that deflationary, it wouldn't be sustainable, right? So there is a balance. There is more Ether being created, or being minted, I should say. Let's take a look at the Fiat Leak site as well. We like looking at this on the mining market signal because it tells us where in the world all of the different coins are going. Rather, where in the world all the different currencies are coming from to buy a certain currency, a certain coin. We're going to start with Bitcoin and see where in the world, or what currencies throughout the world are purchasing Bitcoin. First off, we got a little spoiler there. The current price of Bitcoin is $47,711. Very healthy, very strong price for Bitcoin. Strongest we've seen in quite a while. But here's where it's all going. We're seeing a lot of USD, seeing a bit of that. Wow, that's new. Colombian peso, no, that was definitely a ruble, right? A Russian ruble is going into it as well, all the way there across to Eastern Europe. And over time, this is going to warm up here. So euros as well. We're going to see the trades come in real time. And so we'll kind of see this map warm up as it catches up to the actual state of these trades right here that are coming in real time across Binance and Huobi and Kraken, and all of the other exchanges. But it seems like Euro and USD are absolutely winning right now, and Korean won as well. Plenty of velocity in these in the Bitcoin market, plenty of volume coming through in these fiat currencies. There's Japanese yen flying out of the flag of Japan over here. And we will, see more rubles, and then Brazilian real. Never shocked to see people from Brazil involved in cryptocurrency. Very forward-looking country. And we see it right here on this map. All of this fiat, right? All this Brazilian real fiat coming out of the flag here and being pushed way over there. See that? To Brazil in South America. They're competing, in terms of just the visual volume, what we can see here. They're competing with some of these other relatively small countries like Korea and Japan. Not that Brazil is tiny. It's certainly not tiny. It's not a tiny country. But the point is that for their GDP, they are mighty purchasers of Bitcoin, and it shows right here. So moving from Bitcoin over to Ethereum, let's see where in the world people are buying Ethereum, what currencies people are using. First off, again, spoiler, we see that the current price of Ethereum, it made it over the $3,300 mark. It's at $3,319 and change, right? Almost $320. That's amazing to see how much is happening. Let's see. I've got some comments that are coming in live that I'd like to address really quickly. And again, guys, I don't have a whole lot of time to stream as long as I normally would. Been streaming a little bit longer recently, but I see the username Robert De Niro. I don't think it's the real Robert De Niro, but it's a cool username, saying, "Bro, it's normal. Program do not update like MetaMask. You can see, I don't know where, Block, Legacy, or V2, EIP 1559." A French who participates for EIP 1559, that is why gas is very high. I apologize. I don't fully understand what your message is supposed to mean. But the point is that right now, where we are at this moment, miners have not been discouraged from mining Ethereum at all. Hardly at all. Maybe with a couple of different GPU profiles, it's been showing more profit to mine Ravencoin. But Ethereum is not a bad bet at all right now. Not one bit. Let's jump back into these charts. So take a look. Got US dollar, plenty of Japanese yen, plenty of Korean won, euro, and it looks like we've got British pound as well going into Ethereum right now. People are excited. Clearly, they're excited to see this kind of growth and see this kind of movement. Again, based on the fear and greed index, the score of us being into extreme greed, I'm cautious, extremely cautious. Taking a look at this, we see this trend upward, and I worry about us seeing a correction back down. Not me offering any kind of advice there, but just I see the potential for there being a heavier correction because it has so much upward growth to this point. So it makes me a little bit cautious, but you do your own research and you make the moves that make most sense for you. Let's jump into what to mine to see what our numbers are. Here's the top of the line from NVIDIA. The 1080 Ti, the 1660S, the 2080 Ti, and the 3090. These are the highest performing cards from each one of these generations of NVIDIA cards. And each one of these will tell us, we'll get a composite number, a score that tells us roughly what the average is across all of these top performing cards from NVIDIA about how profitable it is to mine Ethereum and all the other coins that are mineable with these cards right now. But just a reminder, the RTX 3090 will represent about 50% of the hash rate and the profit from our resulting numbers. We're starting with a base cost of 14 cents per kilowatt hour. And our averages for profitability and our averages for the difficulty and revenue, we're going to use 7 days. If you're new to this channel, you might be wondering, Seth, why do you use 7-day averages for some of these calculations? In my mind, it's far more responsible to look at the averages in the same way that you dollar cost average into certain coins, or you might dollar cost average in certain coins and try to figure out over a longer period of time, how is the performance? You don't necessarily buy Bitcoin today, expect for it to do 500% before the weekend's over, and then sell before Monday. That just is an unrealistic expectation, right? So that's why I like to look at the averages when it comes to GPU mining. Let me catch up on some comments as well. Nicholas is saying, great to see Brazilians buying crypto. Brazilian real is always losing value compared to USD. Just imagine compared to BTC. Yeah, absolutely. Some currencies just do not hold their value in the same way. We're very, very spoiled in the United States and in Great Britain, in Australia even, anywhere that frankly, anywhere that English is spoken as a primary language, Canada as well. If you live in one of these countries, you basically won the lottery of life. You live in a place that very likely has a relatively stable currency and affords you opportunities in finance and in investing and in business that are very difficult to get in many other countries. So yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for bringing that up. Jeff says, you're sharp. No wonder Ben has you on. Great content. Hey, I really appreciate you saying that. Very kind words, and I appreciate you being here. Thanks for being on board, man. Really appreciate it. So jumping back into our numbers here. That's why we're using these numbers. Our volume filter, we're going to keep it at 1 Bitcoin of trading volume daily. We might move this up to 5. And why would I move the daily volume filter up to 5? Well, because as GPU miners, if we do need to liquidate every so often, every day or every week, then we need to know that there's enough liquidity in that coin that we're not going to move the market by market selling, right? By dumping, so to speak. That's what people call market selling. It's not dumping when you're paying for your fees, you're paying for your overhead, electricity, warehouse space, etc. When you're paying your costs as a business owner, that's just the cost of doing business. Period. End of story. That's all it is for us, right? And many of us still want to hold on to coins as much as we can, so we have to really drive for efficiency. But at any rate, if the volume filter is not high enough, we may see some coins returned that are not a really great option for us. Let's go ahead and calculate over here on whattomine.com. And again, these tools are all available to you in the description of this video. Top of the list is Ravencoin at an average profitability at that cost for power of $17.17 per day. Ethereum in a very close second at $16.74 per day. Remember, about half that's going to go to the RTX 3090. So we're within so-called spitting distance of each other right here. And the reason that I'm more interested in mining Ethereum at these profits is because of what Ethereum can do, and the fact that permissionlessly Ethereum can be flipped into a stable coin or some other store of value on the Ethereum blockchain using tools like Uniswap or 1inchDEX or other permissionless DEXs or AMMs. You don't need permission. You don't need KYC. You don't need to go to anybody else. You don't need to talk to anybody. All you need is MetaMask or some kind of an Ethereum wallet that supports signing transactions with your private keys. It's a lot simpler. As far as not needing permission. Ravencoin, good project. But for me, if I were operating with these cards, I'd be more interested in still staying with Ethereum. Firo is on the list as well, $14.15 every single day in mining profits. And then Ethereum Classic is a bit farther down on the list, but I think it's an honorable mention. Same with Ergo at $12.12. The volume on Ergo daily has come up significantly, all the way up to 11 BTC. It was as low as 3 just a few days ago, so that's great to see there. But that tells me that we're seeing a lot more activity with Ergo, a lot more selling activity. And I would be a little bit concerned about price for it, but I don't want to FUD here. There's no telling for sure unless we take a closer look when we get over to our portfolios, our charts, to see what the price action has been since we last checked in with each other. But those are kind of the top performers for the top of the line on Team Green. Let's go with the value and efficiency cards on Team Green. 3060 Ti, 2060, 1660, and 1060. Remember that 50% of the hash rate and the profit will go to the 3060 Ti. Let's calculate again, all the same parameters, exactly the same. We don't want to change anything else. So moving down the list, we see a Ravencoin at $10.01, Ethereum at $9.45. Again, to me, this looks like a really strong case to stick with Ethereum for a little bit of time. Ravencoin may be pumping and it may retrace. The last time that we went live, I showed you the historical charts for Ravencoin, which regardless of what they're developing, the historical charts for Ravencoin have not justified having it be a particularly long-term hold. When it went way up in value, it was a great time to sell. It didn't make sense to hold on. It was an irrational choice, and a lot of people basically missed out on getting almost 6 times the profit in Bitcoin if they had sold it for Bitcoin versus just holding the Ravencoin. So without any kind of, dispassionately, let's look at these numbers and figure out what makes the most sense for you. Again, not financial, legal, or business advice. You got to make your own choices. I'm just telling you where my mind is at after taking a look at these numbers. It's not so far ahead that I think it's worth getting 55 cents or 56 cents extra today and tomorrow and maybe over the next week versus having something that may allow me to improve my long-term prospects. We got Cryptid Youth in the comment section saying, hey, yo, good to see you, man. Thank you for stopping by live. We got Nicholas saying, what about Raven upcoming halving? Do you see that moving the price a lot? Well, let's take a look at the last, or I guess there wouldn't have been a halving. I don't know their halving schedule. But let's take a look at the last massive event in Ravencoin's history to see if there was a correlated price movement and see if there was a correlated price correction. Because I think that's what we saw back in 2019 when it did this massive spike to go up above 1,600 Satoshis per coin. I strongly suspect we're going to see very similar price action because people are excited by investor excitement, and the smart, shrewd, dispassionate investors come in and basically dump on the new investors who see a project that's exciting to them because it's different, but don't know any better or haven't paid attention to the history. That's just, take that for what it's worth. I could totally be wrong, but I think we may see history maybe not repeat itself, but we may see this next movement rhyme with the history of Ravencoin very, very soon. Ethereum second place, and then Firo third place. It's really cool to see it, placing between the top three there. Ergo again in a distant fourth place at 732. And that's our value and efficiency cards on NVIDIA. Let's move into AMD. Top of the line for AMD is going to be a composite between the 6000 series and the 5000 series. We're going to start with the top of the line, 6800 XT, or what we have here for the top of the line with the easy numbers on what to mine. And then bottom of the line, 5600 XT. Before we do that, though, let me just briefly mention we've gotten some data back from some of the other channels that have tested out the AMD 6600 XT. And it hasn't really panned out the way most of them hoped. I got some numbers back, in a private chat with some of the other GPU mining content creators. I think both Serpent X Special Forces and I think also Red Panda Mining, as well as Tech Shinji, have done some initial testing, and I believe now also Bits Be Trippin' have done some initial testing with the 6600 XT, and they're finding that for Ethereum at least, it's only getting about 32.5 megahash per second. Looks an awful lot like that 8 gig Polaris card from back in the day, like a 470 to 580 model with 8 gigs of RAM. It's not really performing much better than those. And I should mention that at the wall, it's consuming almost 100 watts of power. So really no better than the AMD cards from several years ago. And they've commented that privately. I think some of them commented it publicly. I haven't been able to watch all of their videos yet. But the bottom line is that they're coming in at least with preliminary numbers that don't offer a lot of hope for the 6600 XT to be the most efficient GPU mining card out there. And at its price, that could be especially disappointing to people who are looking at the 6600 XT. The Ravencoin numbers for the 6600 XT, as I understand them right now, are about 14 megahash, which again puts it in the vicinity of 4 gig Polaris Edition cards, 470s and such, 470s, 570s. Really not much better. And again, for a brand new price, sticker price of over $400, that has got to hurt when you compare that to older cards that, sure, they're used, but they still mine, and they can be acquired at a much, much lower price. Guys, thank you so much for hitting that thumbs up button. Thank you so much for sharing the video right now so that we have more live viewers to chat with and to become friends with, basically, at the end of the day. But let's jump out of the way here. Take a look at these two. This is why we don't have the 6600 XT on this lineup yet. What to Mine has not committed to putting those numbers up just yet. Simple Mining OS has gone out of their way to offer some preliminary numbers as well. So kudos to Simple Mining for being such good sports about that, just releasing numbers that they had. That was an awesome thing to see on Twitter when they did that. But between these two, about 60% of the total hash rate and performance is going to go to the 6000 series part here, the 6800 XT. So when we calculate for profitability, just keep that in mind. That's going to be a little more than half is going to go to the top of the line card here. Top of the list is Ravencoin at $8.03. Ethereum in a very close second at $7.62. Are you seeing a trend? Because I am. And it tells me that the gas fees for Ethereum are through the roof right now between MEV and tipping. because traders want to get their trades through. So we're not going to see this highly deflationary price action or highly deflationary movement in the coin supply of Ethereum until we get through that, even though you see some of the supply burned. And we're not going to see it be less attractive to miners anytime soon because people are more emboldened to use DeFi. It's a crazy thing, but the hype cycle of saying it's deflationary has caused more people to use Ethereum, which has driven up the mining fees, which attracts more miners. Right? It's crazy, but there's some game theory to this. Taking a look also at the total daily trading volume. Ravencoin has great trading volume, right? Really good, over 160 Bitcoin per day. But Ethereum, it's got well over 10 times that. It's got well over 20 times that, over 30 times that. It's got so much liquidity. It's coming out of its ears. There's plenty of trading going on just with Ethereum, just with the native token Ether, let alone all of the other tokens that ride on top of it as ERC20 tokens and as ERC721 NFTs. There's so much more happening here natively. That's why you see a lot more trading volume as well. People do see it as inherent value in that network. So I'm not shocked to see that, to see that it's so close and to see that miners are really not moving, the rigs too much. All right. We see in a distant third, Ethereum Classic at $5.17. And then at a very distant fourth, we've got Ergo at $4.77. But Ergo has not historically been quite as good on many of the architectures that AMD has as, say, like Ethereum and Ravencoin. All right, moving from the newest architecture, let's go to the Radeon 7, which is top of the line for HBM2 memory cards with the Vega core. If you don't know what that means, if you're not super into mining just yet, it's okay. Let me just put it this way. HBM memory stands for high bandwidth memory. It's a very, very fast type of memory that runs on these cards. And the Radeon 7 is the king of using HBM memory. It's HBM2 because it is the second revision of high bandwidth memory. So HBM2. But this is a really impressive card. It historically has done extremely well since it launched. We're going to just isolate that one card there. Again, if you're just tuning in, we're using 14 cent per kilowatt hour power, and we're filtering projects that have at least 5 Bitcoin of daily trading volume, and we're sorting with a profitability and difficulty for revenue with an average of 7 days. Ethereum takes the contest. I mean, it's not even close. Ethereum at $6.90. Ergo at $6.23. I take that back. It's actually relatively close there. If you did want to mine Ergo, that's not that bad. It's not all that much difference. But Ravencoin is all the way below $5 at $4.62. So not really making a whole lot of sense to be mining Ravencoin on these cards when you have the option to mine Ethereum instead. You see that right there? You've got, gosh, what is that? $2.30 almost of profit in difference. It's crazy. Hey, we got some new comments down in the comments section. We got Ravenboy Crypto saying hello. Nicholas saying rest in peace to Cryptid Youth's mouse. Apparently he has a 10-year-old mouse that just broke apart, and so he's going to have to divert some mining profits to buying a brand new mouse. Bro, I feel your pain. This Logitech, it's crazy. It's still got the red laser on it, but I love this thing. I brought it back out because of the response time of being wired again. Isn't that crazy? After being wireless mouse for years, I went back. So I feel that there. BPK is back in the comment section saying, hey, good evening from the UK. Informative discussion earlier on BitBoy and good info sharing here. Appreciate it. Hey, thank you for being here with us. I know it's a bit of a sacrifice for you to be here because it's so late. And let's see. We got Zotrak also saying, hey, all, let's party. I agree. Party on the thumbs up button. Thank you. Let me jump back into these numbers though. Again, Ravencoin, $2.30 less than Ethereum on that Radeon 7. Ethereum Classic, a little bit higher in daily profit, but not that much. Let's just be very clear about that. However, the daily trading volume is almost double. Almost, not quite, but almost double what Ravencoin's is. It's an established network, right? They still get input from IOHK or Charles Hoskinson's company, and he's still kind of a stakeholder in their future. He was there when Ethereum Classic, before the split between Ethereum Classic and Ethereum. So Charles Hoskinson does give some valuable input to the Ethereum Classic roadmap and to some of the development that goes into it. I know I like to make jokes about how, hey, I don't have a whole lot of faith in Cardano just yet because I haven't seen them deliver smart contracts just yet. However, Charles Hoskinson apparently seems to be a good faith actor when it comes to Ethereum Classic, right? Because they do have smart contracts, and all of the smart contracts that are available on Ethereum are portable over to Ethereum Classic. So don't count it out. Really, don't count it out. And when your mining rigs are no longer able to mine Ethereum, for many people, when they're tuned into really good ETH hash, right, or Dagger Hashimoto mining, they may be looking at Ethereum Classic by saying, like, okay, well, I'm really good at mining Ethereum, and Ethereum's not available to me. I'm just going to switch to Ethereum Classic. And I wouldn't blame them for making that choice. All right, moving from our Radeon 7, which is just slaying on Ethereum, let's go to the Vega 56, which would be the entry-level card with the HBM2 and Vega pairing, that architecture, which is, it's pretty high performance. It's a pretty great combo. Ergo, ironically, goes to the top of the stack for this one, though. And this one always takes me off guard. You guys have seen it before. It pretty much like gets me scratching my head. How can the Radeon 7 be so good at mining Ethereum, and then the Vega 56 better at mining Ergo? What's going on here, right? Like, I've got to take a closer look. There's got to be some kind of like crazy voodoo dark magic here that I just don't understand. So whatever. But Ergo is at the top of the list here at $4.02. It would have been funny if it were $4.20, right? Because crypto and 420, it's $4.02. Whatever. What are you gonna do? These are the jokes, guys. You tuned in. Don't blame me for your bad life choices. But thanks for being here. So Ethereum, $3.42. Every single day, so about 60 cents less every single day. Not great. Ravencoin in a distant third at $3.16. Not that distant, though. Again, not that distant. You may be one of those who's saying, like, all right, I'm going to hold out for maybe a bigger Ravencoin pump, and maybe I'll point my Vega 56 at that instead. So wouldn't blame me if you did. Ethereum Classic, though, significantly lower at $2.27 per day on the Vega 56. Let's go to our Polaris 8 gig cards. We'll just represent that with the Polaris 580. So ETH hash numbers of about 30.5 mega hash. You can probably do better. Some are doing worse, but that's not a bad number to hit. They're showing 130 watts of power consumed. I don't know that I agree with that. I've definitely seen the power consumption lower on these cards. Crypto Youth says, king of dad jokes. Here's the thing, man. I'm the king of dads. Little did you know, when I'm not wearing this hat, I'm wearing a crown as king of dads. Ask any dad, they know. But let's go through to see the numbers on the Polaris 8 gig card. I'm totally kidding, by the way. When I was on BitBoy show, he's the king of dads. Like, it's all dads on his show, isn't it? Straight up. Like, I'm always visiting in his territory, in his kingdom, which is, it's so much fun, though. Like, we have so many dad jokes behind the scenes. Basically, yeah, no, it's just obscene. It's obscene. It's more dad jokes than are even permitted on YouTube. They have rules against this sort of thing. Anyway, scrolling down to see our profits, we got Ethereum at $2.05 every day. Unreal. Guys, it keeps going up. This is a card that costs, depending on when you got it, it costs a fraction of what the brand new 6600 XT costs, and you're getting about the same performance out of it, roughly about the same performance, about the same daily profit out of it. It's unreal. Sometimes it feels like we're living in a dream, that we're still earning money with these cards. But there it is, 205, Ravencoin at 177. So not nearly as much profit, but pretty close. So again, if you're looking at Ravencoin, you're saying, you know what, Seth's got it wrong. And hey, respectfully, you know that I'm happy to hear that from anybody. But if you're one of those who's just saying, nope, Seth's got it wrong, Ravencoin definitely has a future, so I'm going to mine Ravencoin. I mean, your daily profit kind of justifies it. You're definitely in the money. You're not in the red here. So you can definitely liquidate as you need to and hold with some profit, or just hold, right? Every single day when you take away the net cost for power here, it looks even closer, right? So Ethereum, you're doing 249, and with Ravencoin, you're doing 234, right? So it makes it an even closer value proposition if you're mining to hold it, right? And you don't have to liquidate at regular intervals. Maybe that does make more sense to you, guys. Who am I to tell you no? I've got some misgivings with Ravencoin. I haven't been shy about that, but this might be a better choice for you. You do your own research. You make your own decision there. Ethereum Classic is a distant third at $1.33 and Ergo at $1.36. It's that to me is starting to seem almost a little bit ridiculous. I don't know why you would want to do that, because you could always liquidate the other coins and get those. Go to the 4 gig Polaris card, the 570, and preemptively change this to 30.5 mega hash so it matches the approximate performance of its 8 gig sister card. Because that's usually, in the real world, that's usually something you can expect, is that it'll perform about the same on that algorithm. Barry is jumping in and saying, I'm merge mining LTC and Doge. And hey, you guys, please do me a solid. If you're live in the comments, please go ahead and tag RiceTVX and tell him we love him. Thanks for being here, man. It's great to see you chime in the comments section. Had a blast with Rice over on BitBoys Around the Blockchain today. So please do tag him. Please say hello. Please give him a nice, warm Mind Your Biz welcome from the comment section, because we're here to support each other. So definitely appreciate you being here, man. So taking a look at our numbers for the 4 gig Polaris card. Again, we corrected that number right there for ETH hash. It's Ravencoin at the top of the list because that's more profitable than Ethereum Classic, but it does give us better numbers on Ethereum Classic, right? We got $1.80 on Ravencoin, and then $1.37 on Ethereum Classic, $1.27 on Ergo. It's just basically no contest. On some of these 4 gig cards, you really don't have much of a choice other than to go with Ravencoin. Really, at the end of the day, in my mind, it doesn't make any sense. Even if you are saying a bit like me, like, I'm not sure if I want to hold on to the Ravencoin. Maybe I do want to, not mine to an exchange, but I want to send it to an exchange, and maybe at least a portion of this bag I want to flip into something else. You don't really have a choice anyway. You kind of have to mine Ravencoin right now because of the price differential. It just doesn't make any sense any other way. But moving from our Polaris edition cards, let's move to the older architectures, the R9 Fury. And this is an ancient card, guys. If you haven't seen this segment before, then you know this GPU is basically ancient, but it has the first generation of high bandwidth memory that we talked about before, like the Radeon 7, but not nearly as advanced a brain, right? A GPU core. So let's see what the numbers are here. Again, this is a card that you can't even buy brand new anymore. You couldn't possibly find any new in box. Every single one that was ever produced has been sold at market, been used by gamers, been used by computer scientists, been used by miners, by everybody, and you're buying it secondhand. And it is doing Ravencoin at $2.05 a day. Woo, sweet Nelly, sweet Moses. How is it doing $2.05 a day? This is a card that is ancient. Yeah, Cryptid Youth says the Egyptians use these. It's true. If you look at the hieroglyphs, there's one that's shaped like this with a really bad water block on it, and it's like all in one cooler. It's how? Guys, somebody make it make sense. These markets are so irrational. And this is what I'm talking about from before, guys. The Crypto Fear and Greed Index right now, this is what has me a little bit concerned, right? We see that we're in extreme greed, and then we see mining profits like this, and I'm like, yeah, little wonder. Now is absolutely the time, in my mind, to be proceeding with caution, right? Like whatever, it isn't safe to go alone. Here, take this. I'll give you I'll give you the magic sword. But the magic sword is skepticism and a little bit of paranoia. Like, these profits may not last forever, and when we see extreme greed, to me, that's like, okay, we've got even less time. So, yeah, Ravenboard Crypto saying, Fury is on fire. Where can I find one? Guys, great question. Let's take a very brief interlude here. We don't often do this. Let's just check eBay. See if we can even find any anymore. I don't even think we can. They're so hard to find. Basically, you're going to see them in older mining facilities that just had those lying around. Oh, yeah, you can tell them into servers and 3D printing and LED lights and stuff. Whatever. LED strips. I make no apology. R9 Fury. It's going to need to be a 4 gig. I believe that they did offer in a lower memory configuration, but there you go. $2.85 today. Here's the thing, guys. We're also looking at hardware markets that are irrational too. People know that it's worth something now, and so now the prices have gone back up. Doesn't make any sense to pick them up now. It only made sense to keep mining on them if you already had them. During the bear, that's kind of like the sad reality of this market too, is that with a lot of these cards, it doesn't make any sense to pick up new GPUs right now. And I sincerely hope that nobody's watching and thinking like, oh, well, Seth said this is profitable. He said that's profitable. So he's basically saying I should go buy GPUs. Nope. Pump the brakes. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if you already had some of these GPUs, these are the profits that you would be making. No forward-looking statements. I'm not going to kind of promise any kind of return on investment. I don't want anybody to think like, okay, if I bought GPUs right now, I would definitely earn all my money back. No, we don't even know if maybe the Ethereum core developer team is going to try to push proof of stake to come sooner. We really don't know. So some of these profits could really take a hit without warning. So just want to make that very clear. But yeah, this is the price right now on eBay. Looks like, ooh. Oh, it looks like got a little Amazon assistant here. It could just be the fan assembly though. Yeah, is that just the fan assembly? It looks like maybe it is. So it's a specific part number there for the Sapphire R9 Fury. And wow, they're gouging for that even. $80 for this? Good grief. And this is the problem again with this market where it's like you're gonna spend $80 on this right now? I don't believe you. That seems like highway robbery. So let's check this out. Instead of that, briefly, before we go too far down the rabbit hole, let's take a look at mineral oil. 1 gallon. And this is not me saying you should go dunk all your GPUs in mineral oil. You have to know that you've got the right rig and that it's being treated the correct way. It's not a cure-all. But for ancient cards like this, where you're like, hey, maybe I get one more year of mining out of these, consider it. Cryptid Youth says, now if you buy hard drives and mine Chia, your ROI will ... Just kidding. Trigger warning. He's not wrong. I do get fairly fired up talking about that. Okay, and it looks like Amazon is taking a massive dump. It does not like it. Barry Merritt also, he jumps in and makes a very, very responsible recommendation saying engineering fluid would be better. And he's not wrong. He's not wrong at all. Just to make a point here, though, they're charging you $80 for brand new cooling supplies for one card. The approximate volume displacement for one GPU, it should take less than a gallon of whether it's engineering fluid or mineral oil or whatever. And Zotrack just brought it up. Fish tank plus mineral oil. People have done it for years without wrecking their hardware. For years. There are ways to do it. So this is not me recommending you do that. But here's the point. 1 gallon of food grade mineral oil, $20 with free shipping versus $80 for new fans for one card. You figure it out for yourself. You figure out which one I'm endorsing for ancient cards that you probably had to get secondhand if you already have them in your possession. Just saying. The economy of GPUs and of IT for mining is way off, right? It's way off. The supply versus demand versus price and everything, it's way off. So I'm just saying there's a reason that you see Bitsby Trippin doing liquid immersion, single phase liquid immersion for all of his Polaris cards, right? He's a smart man. Card is a really smart dude. He's doing a dunk on all of his old cards. If I were in his shoes, I would do the exact same thing. Straight up all day. I would just take all those ancient cards and just dump them in engineering fluid and then lock up those tanks and throw away the key. Be like, all right, did this stop being profitable? Whatever. And I'm going to sell the tanks exactly as is to whoever needs them. Or have them shipped to like El Salvador and use like volcano power to run them. Anyway, you guys know all my secrets now. Oh no. As you know, it's really not a secret. But Ravencoin, $2.05 every single day, and nothing else comes close on that R9 Fury. Last in the lineup is the R9 380, an even older card with lower performance because it doesn't have that HBM2 or that HBM memory. So let's check this out. Far lower Ethereum numbers, but it still does put Ethereum Classic ahead of Ravencoin, which is unreal because on this show in recent weeks, we've seen mining profits on this card. Hey, I see Gundy in the comment section. How are you, man? On this card, though, the R9 380, we've seen profits as low as like 12 cents, 20 cents, which for that card is also amazing. It has any profit at all, which is kind of unreal. Oh, I should ask you guys, you like the new background? That cool little fish tank? A little less busy? A little less headache going on? Nobody feeling a little dry heave? I mean, it is better, right? Just making sure. I was thinking about you guys. I got some feedback and didn't want to make you feel gross. So made a change there. But yeah, Ethereum Classic at 59 cents per day, unreal. And if you had free power, just a few of these, let's just say that you run an old internet cafe and you happen to have these ancient card, not internet cafe, but gaming lounge, right? LAN party lounge. These places still exist, by the way. The sort of like lunch and game places, they still do exist out there. If you had a bunch of these at a facility like that, where you had, say, power built into your rent contract, or some kind of rent-controlled power, $1.09 per day on these ancient cards. Are you kidding me? And over $1 on Ravencoin too. When you subtract the cost of power from it and you keep it exactly as is, yeah, an Ergo at almost $1. There's almost no bad coin to mine with this ancient card if you're not paying for power. Very, very unrealistic to expect you won't have to pay for power, but the point stands. There's the possibility of that actually happening from this. Some folks saying, hey, it looks like you're dunked in mineral oil. It kind of does, huh? It's like I'm going to liquid cooling. I'm overheating in my old age, just like these GPUs. Anyway, Crypto Youth saying, Gundy, nice to see you. Made it back from the beach and the scared doorway. Uh-oh. I've got to catch up on the saga there. But that's all of our mining profits, guys, for the various different GPUs. Let me know. What are you mining with? What are you excited about? And if you're on one of these cards where you're kind of straddling profitability either on Ethereum or on Ravencoin, what are you leaning towards? What are you thinking you're going to mine and why? Again, I'm not going to try to dissuade you from doing it. If you think it's a better choice for you, do it. I have my hangups, but what are you doing and why? Let me know in the comments down below. All right. That's our what to mine numbers. Let's quickly check in on the cost to mine one full Bitcoin with typical hardware profiles. Let's start with the Bitmain Antminer S9, the most common ASIC that's out there for people mining Bitcoin. And let's start with a power cost of 14 cents. Clearly our break-even point is 18.3 cents. It's gone down, so it's a little less profitable to mine Bitcoin than the last time that we chatted. But it looks like the cost to mine one full Bitcoin is $36,400. Oof. Yeah. Getting some comments in. Barry saying, waiting for cooler weather to mine Raven. Yeah, that is kind of an issue there. It uses an extremely power-hungry algorithm called KawPow, which is a variant of ProgPow. If you're not familiar with that, if you're tuning in because you're wanting to learn more about mining, ProgPow, it stands for Progressive Proof of Work, or Programmatic, rather, Proof of Work. And it has to do with it using more of the silicon and more of the memory, all of the features that are on a GPU, and making it harder for an ASIC to be built that would mine that algorithm and create some kind of competition or centralization through ASICs. So very, very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. But very power hungry, and it tends to get cards really hot, like Barry is saying in the comments. So yeah, bummer. He's having to wait for cooler weather because he can't even get his mining farm running profitably on that on Ravencoin. Bummer. 14 cents. We're getting one full Bitcoin from the S9 at just over $36,000, with which at the current price of Bitcoin, not terrible, but I think we've probably run into some difficulty issues there. Network difficulty going up, because that just doesn't seem right with the price of Bitcoin going up. If network difficulty stayed the same, and if global hash rate, net hash, stay the same, profits should be going up on that S9. They really haven't. They've gone down just a little bit. They've actually gone down by comparison. All right, let's go from 14 cent per kilowatt hour power. Check at 8 cent per kilowatt hour power if you're just tuning in. I assert that anybody in this audience can find 8 cent power if they look for it. Now you're mining one full Bitcoin for $20,800. Not as low as it was just a week ago. And let's bring it all the way down to 5 cent per kilowatt hour power. You might be able to find this if you are going to a co-location facility where somebody else has set up a giant rack space for you and they've negotiated for extremely low rates, and they make you sign a contract where you can't possibly get your ASIC out of their facility for the next 6 months or 18 months or whatever you sign for. It's dicey, but maybe you can find this power rate by doing that. And at that rate, you're mining one full Bitcoin for $13,013. Oh no, double 13s on Friday the 13th. What does it mean? Absolutely nothing. All right. So it does mean, though, that your profits are actually going down on the Antminer S9. It's not good. That's really not good. So plus what was it? The guy that says there's no such thing as coincidence. That guy, he says that 13 is actually a good omen. I don't know if I believe him though. His eyes are kind of dodgy. Anyway, moving from the Antminer S9, let's go to our alternate model, the MicroBT M20S. We always use this one as our second control model. And at 5 cents per kilowatt hour, you see, it shaves a significant chunk off the price of mining one full Bitcoin on this model, down to almost $7,500. Moving up to 8 cent per kilowatt hour power, which we know we can find, it's harder to do. Now we're looking at 11.9. Also, profits are kind of going down there. Not quite as profitable as it was before. And then 14 cent per kilowatt hour power, and we're mining one full Bitcoin at 29. So about the same cost as you would on an S9 if you had 8 cent per kilowatt hour power. Again, it bears repeating that when you're mining with ASICs, you must become an electricity price maximalist. You have to live by the cheapness of the power that you get, because you will die on those margins, right? Like they'll kill your margins, your profit, if you don't get the cheapest possible power. So getting something a little more efficient like this gives you some more options. It's still going to be more profitable for you to find a lower cost for power, but it makes it possible for you to mine somewhere else. You don't have to just go to a co-location facility and get gouged for some of those. We got Cryptid Youth saying power pincher. That's his name for it, right? And being kind of miserly on the cost of your power. Zotrack chimes in and says, I'm mining Ethereum probably until it won't be GPU mineable. Then I'll put my cards on Firo for my NVIDIAs and Raven for my AMD. That sounds like a really good strategy to me. It really does. Firo is going to be great because you can flip some of your profits into a masternode that then earn passive income that way. So you're doing proof of stake mining. When it's masternodes, it is technically a form of consensus. So it is a form of mining, so to speak. That sounds really smart to me. Jaybird is in the house. Says, sup, boys? That's awesome. Ravenboy Crypto is saying, I'm playing it safe and mining a mixture of ETH, Raven, and Ergo. I get worried I'm going to go all in to something that tanks. Man, also, guys, you're so smart. This is why I live stream, because I learn from you. That's great. Yeah, totally. Being all in on any one coin could leave you wrecked. It's always possible. And Gordon Murray says, look like my Z9 Mini is becoming profitable again. Time to plug in. And heck yeah, man, that's awesome. Maybe Me says, hey, boys. So we got a full house today. Let's go and move from our ASIC profits from mining Bitcoin between the MicroBT M20S and the S9 by Antminer. And Jaybird says some nice things. He says, you killed it on Around the Blockchain. Thank you. I feel good about hanging out with those guys. They always keep it fun, and it's great to have friendly banter and pushback from other people. Like riffing the way I do often when I'm live streaming is fun, but having some other folks, who really give some pushback and some counterpoint in the middle of a live stream, that's just great. That really, for me, emotionally, that fills a need, right? It's like being with the bros. A lot of fun. But yeah, that's our cost to mine one full Bitcoin. Taking a look at our mining pool stats, looks like our global hash rate for Bitcoin really hasn't changed at all. We're still at over 110 exahash, not quite up to 117 the way it was before. So I'm kind of at a loss there. The net hash has not gone up significantly. So for it to get for profits to go down the way they have, difficulty must have been adjusted in some way more recently, because we do have a 2-week difficulty adjustment on Bitcoin. So it could be that there's some kind of a difficulty adjustment that made things a little bit less profitable in that way. Clearly, there's no decrease in block reward. So kind of weird. Yeah, Gundy says, Seth loves it when we watch his ads. Hook a brother up. That's funny. Dude, wait, what? You guys, you lost me. Did I straight up repeat an ad from Ace Hardware? Did that actually happen? I'm sorry. Anyway, so Ethereum, we've also got global hash rate not quite nearing the 600 terahash mark. Dogecoin is looking very strong in terms of global hash rate. It's higher than Litecoin. That's not a shock, though. We kind of knew that. The pooled hash rate is apparently higher than Litecoin. That's kind of confusing to me, but the apparent network hash rate, this is where we got some conflicting info here. It could be the accounting, right? The way that they're tracking the hash rate, a little bit off, a little bit wonky there. Bitcoin Cash is still surviving. It's still there. Bitcoin SV has basically refused to die. Don't know how long it's going to take, but it does not look like it's doing well. Kind of on life support. Monero, the global hash rate looks very similar, guys. We're not seeing a whole lot of change here. People who've been mining, right? It's a set it and forget it proposition. If your mining rig was profitable 2 weeks ago and it's still profitable today, really all you're doing is dusting it off, making sure that it's clean and making sure that it's not dirty or, next to water. And then it keeps on doing its thing, right? Pretty easy to do after you've got it all lined up. Just set it and forget it. All right, guys, that's our hash rate for all of those coins. I do see Ravencoin kind of coming up in global hash rate, though. I don't know that it was in the top 15 before. Maybe I'm just not remembering correctly, but it looked like Zilliqa was higher up on the list. Maybe that's because we dialed down into just Dagger Hashimoto. I want to say that's exactly why. Let's take a quick look, though. Now I'm curious because I see that the A9. Wait, who was it? T-Bone's here. Hey, what's up, T-Bone Gaming? Good to see you. Guys, if you haven't seen T-Bone Gaming, fun channel. T-Bone is a longtime supporter and miner and now runs a gaming channel with his son. It's super cool. All right, so you should check it out. You should definitely be subbed. Let's see, looking back up the list, though, was the A9 Z9 Mini. There you go. Gordon was saying a Z9 Mini. Let's take a look at this Equihash algorithm. Now you got me curious, right? Knowing that somebody's going to be mining Equihash. Let's take a look at this. Zcash, Bitcoin Gold, Horizon, and Pirate Chain in that order. But it looks like Pirate Chain and Horizon are kind of neck and neck. Pirate Chain actually might be a little bit ahead. It looks like 198 gigasouls. And then Komodo just like lagging behind these guys. Super lagging. Which is kind of weird because Komodo it's the backbone of Pirate Chain and several other projects that rely on their DPoW. Right, their DPoW to notarize their transactions and keep them 51% attack resistant. So it's a pretty important part of that ecosystem, as well as others, right, that Komodo offers that service to. So kind of sad to see their hash rate so low. But Pirate Chain looks like, yeah, it is definitely equal hash rate, but it looks like as measured, their network difficulty is a little bit lower, but frankly, that's going to just play out in a different way for every single network. So we'd have to see a dynamic list there or see kind of a history, right? Or I was going to say histogram, but a chart, right? To see how that's playing out in time, over time, to know roughly what that means. But Bitcoin Gold, how is Bitcoin Gold on this list? How is it so high? It's in the megasouls. It's not even the gigasouls. Oh, this has got to be according to market cap. Duh. Okay, there you go. So let's take a look at according to network hash rate instead. Bitmark? What? Bitmark? What the heck is a Bitmark? Guys, help me. Bitmark. The market cap is under $500,000. How can it possibly have more network hash rate than Zcash? How's that possible? I think something has been miscategorized by miningpoolstats.stream. So yeah, something's not quite right there. Alrighty, guys, our comment section got more coming in. Zotrak saying, I'm still PTSD from looking into MineSwitch, the most profitable alt in 2018, missing out on ETH mining. Oh, that is rough. Yeah, 2018 was a rough time. So many projects launching. It was very easy to get kind of suckered into some projects that, it was speculative mining for a lot of projects. But yeah, I'm sorry, man. I feel for you. It's rough. Also, Barry is reminding us that Bitcoin lost Chinese mining farms and ETH went up in price. Yeah, no, for sure. We are seeing the first signs of a flippening, right? A market cap flippening. We talked about this on Around the Blockchain today over on BitBoy's channel, that there are signs of a potential market cap flippening where Ethereum can potentially be in the number one spot while Bitcoin does not maintain the number one spot for market cap. Do I think that like invalidates Bitcoin's use case? No. Do I think the rebranding of Ethereum to ultrasound money is wise? No. I don't think Ethereum should be competing directly with Bitcoin. I think it's very unwise for the core developers and for the community surrounding Ethereum to try to position Ethereum as a direct competitor to Bitcoin. It just won't end well, in my opinion. So let's jump back out of the chat. Those are our mining pools there. Interesting though, if you're firing up that Z9 Mini, then it kind of looks like Zcash and Pirate Chain according to network hash rate. They're the highest hash rate. Pirate Chain, I don't know, may or may not have more upside to it in the middle of or for the rest of this bull run. But let's check our portfolio. That's what's going to help us understand just a little bit better. GPU portfolio has had an almost 10% 24-hour change. We're up by 9.14%. So pi plus 6. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Yes, we said pi. Why? Because I saw a little visual pi over here. I got distracted. Shiny object syndrome. But our overall P&L, guys, we're almost at break even. We're at negative 0.13% for the entire portfolio since we started it in May 26th. So we're doing great. Ravencoin is at the top of the list, though, at over 94% up. The $1,000 we put into this is now $2,035. Ethereum, it's up, but not nearly as much as Ravencoin, right? That aggressive price action over the last 7 days, going up over 100%, is putting Ravencoin in the number one spot based on when we put the $1,000 into our portfolio. So that's impressive. That's very, very impressive. Ethereum, of course, is back past break even. So that's really good. Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh, did I everyone keeps on asking me if I like Biz Marquee. Yes, there you go. I'm making the music with my mouth. But Matic, Aave, interest-bearing wrapped ETH is pegged, roughly, not quite, but not 1-to-1, but pretty close to Ethereum. And we are back past break even there as well. Basically, everything above here is past break even. Let's find our line here. Anything below Ethereum Classic is not quite there, but Fiero is close at 956. It's pretty darn close. Beam, not quite so much, but it's over $900. Even Conflux is over $900, and Conceal is making its way there. It's doing pretty darn well. Some of these have a pretty parabolic rise up over the last little while. Looks like Conceal is one of them. Massive spikes there, so I'm not really sure what to make of this, because it was in a downward channel prior to this sort of pumping up, and everything else kind of had this organic flow to it, right? An upward channel with giant arcs to it that kind of more closely mirror, well, like Bitcoin right here. So there's Bitcoin with Ren BTC and Wrapped Bitcoin, or WBTC, and then there's Ethereum. That's pretty strongly correlated to it. See that? It's got that giant hump here, and then it's got sort of like almost a double top there, and Ethereum has it too. So they look pretty strongly correlated. Guys, am I off? To your eyes see the same thing, right? So we see that pretty strong correlation between a lot of these different assets here. And then we get down below to our less performant assets. We see some that don't really follow it very well. Ergo, marching to the beat of its own drummer, right? And Rio as well. Interesting spikes there. Not going to call it manipulation, or not going to call it wash trading, but it's weird. It's not functioning by the rules of Bitcoin, but it is moving generally up with Bitcoin. Beam, a little closer to Bitcoin with that weird double top, but a lot more spiky, right? Could be just because of the market cap and the amount of daily trading volume that we're seeing. Maybe some manipulation of Beam. Again, not going to accuse any of the founding team or anybody else of doing that, but it just looks different, right? Conceal, vastly different. Downward channel and then massive spikes up. So not sure what's going on there, but Conceal team or anybody who's into the Conceal project, maybe you can let me know. Is there recent news that I'm missing? Is there something that's sentiment driven that you think is driving that price way up on Conceal that I've missed? Let me know in the comments. Flux, same, only it's in a bit more of an upward channel, and it has that initial sort of hump there that more closely mimics the rest of the market. See, Ethereum Classic did it too, right there with Bitcoin. So we see that a little bit more closely in Flux, looking more organic, but then at the end, crazy pumping upward. Zano doing what Zano does, just looking kind of crazy, but it still has that double top formation there. And then Etho, totally decorrelated in a downward channel right now with spikes upward, but mostly finding bottom support lower than everything else, lower than it was in that previous double top. BitTube doing BitTube things, Swap doing Swap things. Haven kind of more correlated to Bitcoin than we've seen it in a while, but also still over $5. Guys, we talked about this for a while, and this is not me shilling Haven. In fact, I haven't talked to the Haven team or any of the Haven community, even people who are close to it, in a long time. But I am seeing that it's probably undervalued, and I'm going to stand by that. When I brought up, around the blockchain on BitBoy's channel weeks ago, when I brought up this project, you could have gotten it for about $2. Here it is at over $5. It's definitely done really, really well. Now, does it compare to Ravencoin? Man, I'm not going to tell you, I haven't done any direct comparisons there. I'd have to work up a spreadsheet that gives you much more direct comparisons there. But I still think that Haven is undervalued for what it is. I can't say the same for Raven. I don't believe that for Raven. Is that weird? Again, somebody set me straight. Tell me that Raven has a really bright future ahead of it, and that its attempt at making NFTs in an NFT marketplace is not weird. Anyway, those are my thoughts, guys. Really, seriously. Let's see. Barry, perform a rollback. Yeah, they did perform a rollback. They did. There is some centralization to it. Yeah, there is. So that's it is a little bit sus right now, and I don't know. There are other points of failure too. I'm not saying that Haven is a perfect project, but what I am saying is that they have a great roadmap and a vision that is really good. So even if it does wind up being the sort of project that results in a hard fork with some forked merge code to improve the decentralization and to improve certain aspects of it, I still think what they're doing is meaningful work. The direction that they're heading down is meaningful. Just put it that way. So without directing them, well, yeah, I will directly compare them, because this is our biggest loser still. 58% down versus 94% up with $1.5 billion market cap on Ravencoin and under 100 million on Haven. I still think that Haven is kind of a gem in the proof of work space. And I'll just say that unabashedly, guys. I think it's still kind of a gem. So we'll see how it does, how it fares in the future. But moving from our GPU portfolio, and Barry's asking, it's still CPU mineable for Haven? I guess it might be. Yeah, I guess it might still be CPU mineable. I thought it was optimized for GPUs, though. It's the form of kryptonite that it used. But on hard drive mining coins, our 24-hour change, we're up 6.25%, but we're still 2.75% down overall. Not bad, though. Again, everything's gotten a lift, guys. When Bitcoin sneezes, all cryptos catch a cold. When Bitcoin is feeling great, it throws all the other cryptos into a little towing wagon, right? A little radio flyer wagon, and it runs down the street, and they all go flying, right? Like, yay, this is so great. I love it. Positive price action. Thank you, Bitcoin. And I think that's what we're seeing here. MadeSafe coin is back up, but not as high as it was before. It's been what has been carrying, it's been the thing that's carrying this portfolio for a while. And it is not as high as it was before. It's still in a downward channel right there, not looking great, but it's starting to recover, starting to reverse right now, which, I don't know, maybe that's bad news for MadeSafe coin. But again, all these coins, we put every single one in the same day, May 26th this year. So all on even footing as far as price performance goes. Biggest loser is still Chia. It's below $300, which, is not too strange. It's been ranging apparently somewhat sideways, but also somewhat positive right here, and a little bit of an upward channel for Chia over the last 7 days, but not gaining as strongly as some other coins. Filecoin has done very well over the last 7 days, 15% up, but none of them has done as well as some of the other coins we saw in the GPU mining portfolio. So take that for what it's worth. CPU mining portfolio, 24-hour change up 3.57%, still in the hole by 18% overall. Raptorium is down. It's had a rough week, but it's still over break even. We're still over $1,000. Monero is finally all the way over $1,000 too. So great. That's exciting. WowNero and Varus coin are still kind of down in the dumps, right? WowNero at almost 40% down and Varus at still 50% down. Kind of some issues there. Kind of a bummer. I think the only chart here that looks kind of, again, air quotes, normal and correlated to Bitcoin is Monero's. So take that for what it's worth. WowNero is a test net, right? So we don't expect it to be a really great speculative asset. unless you have CPUs that you're mining with and you really want to try out Monero or RandomX, then maybe it makes sense for you. But that's our CPU mineable portfolio. Going to ASICs. Let's move to ASICs. Decred is at the top of the list at 1257, looking really strong. Bitcoin at over 1200, so we're well past break even on both of these. Pirate Chain is also past break even. Guys, that's awesome to see Pirate Chain past break even. Zcash getting there at 960, Dash at 960 as well. Very close to Zcash's performance. Very close to Zcash's chart as well. I think there's just really strong correlation to Bitcoin on these two. So it's not quite the same double top that you see right there. It is more of an upward channel between those two tops. So I guess still technically a double top, I guess. But the point is that it's looking like it's an upward channel where it's more clear than it was with Bitcoin before. Dash, then Litecoin as well. Similar strong correlation. Dogecoin, fairly strong correlation. Horizon, a bit decoupled. And then Bitcoin dead last, still down by 25%. Hey, Yashnik's in the comment section, guys. Be sure to tag our friends from DCA Adventure and Ion Pool, Yashnik and Gundy. Guys, definitely say hello to our friends from other channels, our brothers from another mother who maybe also have another father and entirely different nuclear families. But we love them anyway. Say hello. All right. Bitcoin, still bottom of the stack, probably where it belongs, if we're being very honest, because of allegations of it not being totally on the up and up. So let's see. Yeah, that's our ASIC mining portfolio, guys. I keep seeing the same thing with a lot of the ASIC mineable coins, is that they tend to be extremely correlated to Bitcoin, right? Because they've got that very steady hash rate, because people are locked in to the economics of buying an ASIC, right? They have that amount of buy-in. It seems to be something that really locks people in to the same price movement of Bitcoin. Often, not always, but I don't know. You guys prove me wrong. Like, do you see the same thing? These charts look very, very similar to Bitcoin, don't they? That tells me that they are pretty much going to stay very fixed to Bitcoin. Decred, probably the only one that is not closely mirroring it. That upward channel right there, and kind of ranging sideways. That upward channel, different. Like let's see, like Cryptid Youth is saying, a large Bart Simpson. I think it's called a Marge Simpson, right? She's got the taller hair, right? Marge Simpson, only not spiky. But yeah, we see some kind of Bart Simpson movements here, especially with Decred, and it's not that weird double top. It is its own thing, kind of like flattening out. So maybe there's something to that, and I'm missing it. Do you know some of the recent news for Decred? I'm going to admit some ignorance there, guys. Decred is not like something I'm following closely. But were there some new exchange listings? Is there some new functionality, a roadmap announcement? Did one of the developers come out as like secretly Satoshi or something, or the close buddy of Nicholas van Saberhagen, the inventor of Monero or of CryptoNote? Tell me, because I'm kind of at a loss. I don't know why this would be doing so well. That's our ASIC mining portfolio. Let's go to our FPGA portfolio. And 24-hour change, 9% up. Still in the red by 25%. So we haven't quite recouped everything we put in yet. In fact, the only coin that has is Digibyte. Just over $1,000 right now. Oh, I'm sorry. I got confused. I read it too fast. Our holdings are actually only just below $900. We're nowhere close to breaking even, guys. And Handshake still very, very bottom of the list. And we're just not there. So, see, WitcherWorks jumps in and talking about Decred says, I know they put in work getting their ASIC miner made. It makes a lot of sense if you are doing a proof of work project and you're worried about having somebody come in and brute force a new ASIC to be made, or having bit streams that are hidden to the public for the FPGAs, so that you have some kind of centralized hash rate from a potentially, malicious attacker, then it can make sense for you to come up with your own hashing algorithm and spend the funding to go get your own ASICs made and then sell them. Actually, it's kind of triple dipping, right? You are, because you're like, hey, we're getting in the hardware business too. We're not just making coins. Right? It's a little bit dicey in a way, but as far as securing the network, you then know, like, well, we spent the millions of dollars necessary to make an ASIC. Really, somebody's going to have to come up with a more efficient ASIC a year or two from now, or however long it takes. And we've got a head start. People who get this ASIC can mine this coin, and it's really that simple. Like, no fuss, no muss. It is one way to go to market for a proof of work project and know that you're going to have security. Crypto Youth is saying Nimic has been a disappointment. Yeah, I agree. It was at the top of the list for a while, and it backslid pretty hard. Digibyte, of course, has just done really well also. Witcherwork says that, what you just said. Hey, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for bringing that up. That's pretty important to note, right? It's worth saying. Oh, Ravenboy Crypto says, thanks for all you do. Hopefully in the near future, I'll be able to add some zeros to these tips for you. Have a good weekend, Seth. And he sends a $10 super chat. Thank you, bro. Really appreciate that. That means a lot. Barry is mentioning the hashing algorithm for Decred, which is Blake 14R, right? Not Blake 2B or all the other variants of Blake that we have, or Blake with like different scratch pad values or whatever parameters you might have, or different N and K values, whatever you have to adjust to like make, air quotes, create a new algorithm. Guys, when you've been around this space for just a few years, you start to see that there's almost nothing new under the sun. But to your point, the fact that this team said, we're going to use just this version of Blake, the Blake hashing algorithm, and we're going to go out of our way to get an ASIC made, that was unique. That really was unique for its time, and it created enough distance, right? Enough distance between them and the nearest competitor that they didn't have to worry about secret mining, and they didn't have to worry about malicious mining. They didn't have to worry about somebody just taking over a data center somewhere, like taking over an AWS data center somewhere, or an employee saying like, we're going to wreck this cryptocurrency by running like, Amazon, whatever, the Chicago data center, or like one of Google's data centers. If they have those ASICs, then they worry less about that, and they do secure the network more effectively. So it's pretty cool. Cryptid Youth is kibitzing me for not having a Chia donation address. I probably have the wallet somewhere. I know I've got the seed phrase written down somewhere, but I was like, nah, I'm out. He says you got an XMR donation address. Where's the Chia address? Oh, man. I just got tired of having every single one of the addresses there, guys. I just got tired of having all of them, right? Like, Bitcoin is clear, public, traceable. I don't want everybody knowing how many donations I got. Litecoin, same. Ethereum, nah. I'd have to rotate that. So I was like, no, let's go with Monero. I'm sorry to make it weird, but that's all I have there. But again, Ravenboy Crypto, really appreciate that super chat, man. That was cool. Got some other comments coming in from T-Bone Gaming saying, I hate summer. I can make money from my A4 miner, but we in the middle of a heat wave. Oh, dude. I'm sorry, that's rough. Gundy saying access to all the GPUs that run Uber's AI. Yeah, that's true. Bunch of other stuff as well, right? So NVIDIA has a game streaming system where they've got a data center that I think is at least over 100,000 GPUs. It's a massive, massive data center with tons of potential hashing power. If they chose to turn that on a given coin network, dude, it'd be like the Death Star. It's just like it wouldn't even leave any planet left. It would just shred that network, shred that coin, leave nothing behind, right? Like no one would even hear them scream because it would be in the vacuum of outer space, like gone. That'd be it. But yeah. Anyway. And Witcherwork says, the innovation is pretty cool to see. I like the aspects of being part of the success of a project. Mining in some fashion gives a way to pay yourself, but still make a good product. Thanks. Yeah, no, it is pretty cool. It guys, doesn't it feel good to be a part of something bigger too? Like, in a way, like to be a part of something bigger. Like, we're securing DeFi for all these people who are like, whatever, the degen traders who are throwing $10,000 or $10 million at a picture of a penguin or a cat or something. Like, they can do whatever they want with DeFi. They can do whatever they want with this network, but we're securing it. And it does feel kind of good, right? And so to have there be profit for it, icing on top. Cryptid Youth, I need to get a job at NVIDIA IT department, ... Yeah, and Gundy says it totally wouldn't be fair at all. Yeah, right? If they managed to get into mining, well, the other thing is we would know. It would match a certain like hash rate sort of signature, unless they carved out just a little corner of it. Handyman says, sup, B. And Meep is in the comments. We got to get you a different account. But he says, Ethereum 20K or bust. He's pretty serious about it. I think Meep believes this is going to happen this bull run. You guys, what do you think? Is that too bold a claim? $20,000 Ethereum this bull run before the end? Or is it not bold enough? Tell me in the comment section. Anonymous Miner says, hello, Mine Your Biz. Listening while I drive home. Thanks, my guy. Hey, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. And John is letting us know. I think he also said hello earlier on. John Germain said, where's Nemesis? Dude, good question. That's a great question. Where is Nemesis? But he says Digibyte is at 6.5 cents or at 6.5 cents per kilowatt hour power is break even for my FPGAs. Ooh. Oh, that's rough. Yeah, that's rough. So we're seeing the price go back up, but really this is not so much like a mining portfolio, like what you should mine on FPGAs. This is more like based on suggestions from the audience. These are coins you may already have for mining on FPGAs, but that's rough to hear. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, Digibyte. Yeah, that's too bad. And let's see. Oh man, we're getting so many predictions coming in the chat now. This is juicy. This is juicy, guys. Go ahead and throw all of them out. Throw all of the predictions out. Your Bitcoin predictions, your Monero predictions, your Chia predictions. I'll have fun with that one. Your Ravencoin predictions, all of them. Just bring me. Gib the predictions. Do it. So we're already seeing some predictions. Gundy's saying Litecoin to 8K. Bro, that would be amazing. For Litecoin right now, they could definitely use it. Now, I mean, I've seen a few people say, like, express some doubt about Litecoin's current roadmap and such, and say, like, hey, it hasn't been the same since Charlie Lee sold his or whatever. I don't know. Is that true? Can you validate anything like that? Can you quantify anything like that? I don't think so. But he's saying Litecoin to 8K. That'd be amazing. What do you guys think of that? I'm going to read through some of the comments on the ETH to 20K. Let's see. What's Your Work says 20K on Ethereum is too bold without a worldwide use case. Here's the thing. I'm gonna take that one, and I'm gonna say I view it a little bit differently. I think we already see the worldwide use case, and we'll go back to Fiat Leak here. Got to refresh that. Go back to Fiat Leak here, and we can see that Fiat is draining into Ethereum right now around the world. Right, we saw Brazilian real in large quantities going into Ethereum. We see Euro and USD, which really could mean all of both Western and Eastern Europe, or a lot of the entire continent here. There's Korean won flying into USD. Right, Korea loves it some Ethereum. We got US dollars, which again could be global consumption of Ethereum, because so many different countries are, even if they're not dollarized, they may be on exchange, they may be using US dollars after swapping out their currency, right? Doing a little bit of Forex trading and then using their US dollars or whatever profits they have in US dollars to buy Ethereum. So I think we see a worldwide use case in DeFi, and we see fiat money going into Ethereum. So I don't know. I think the use case is pretty strong right now. But $20,000, I still agree. It is bold, but I think the use case is pretty strong right now. It's really, really good. It's not as high performance as it needs to be. I think its performance is not going to cover the world's needs in DeFi right now, but it is functioning around the world. If anything, it's just pricing out certain markets, right? Like, we're not seeing, for example, South African Rand pumped into it quite as much as you might hope, or as you might want. Aussie dollar, sure. South African Rand, not so much. A New Zealand dollar, not at all, right? Several other currencies that you would expect to see going into Ethereum, you're not seeing move into Ethereum. But yeah, but I see what you're saying. Let's see. Meep is saying, T-Bone, you saw pumps before. Gordon is saying, I see your 20K ETH and raise you $200,000 ETH. Oh my gosh, guys, it's getting serious. Can we do it? Can we just will Ethereum to go past 6 figures in this live stream? Probably not, but it's kind of fun. Anyway, your predictions. Let's see. Cryptid Youth. Cryptid Youth says he's walking on water. And Meep says if Bitcoin hits 100 to 200,000 K, and everybody agrees on that. Well, I'm struggling to see Bitcoin hit 100 to 200,000 dollars in the time frame that we all expect it to, if that makes sense. These markets have a way of not moving in a predictable pattern. So yeah, I'm starting to think like that last leg up, we could have some bull traps. We could have another bull trap or two on our way towards whatever Bitcoin achieves in this particular bull run. And it might not be $200,000. Got people saying $400,000 and $500,000 and, really, really big numbers. And I'm thinking it might be more conservative. If you look at, let's see, look at the rainbow chart, right? You ever see that stock to flow model and rainbow chart? People keep saying, let me try to look this up. Rainbow chart BTC. Look that up live. See if I can find something that's worth taking a look at. There we go. Yeah, this has not been updated very recently. And see if I can. There we go. Move that up. Here's the Bitcoin rainbow price chart, right? And this is not up to date. The point is that it shows a bit of a flattening parabolic curve, right? Kind of moving downward and showing this red area where you guys hear me talking about taking a lot of caution being where it hits certain price targets. And I think right now, depending on the date that corresponds to this, it could be that we do have a little bit of cause for concern after having hit 50K and come back down, right? Or hit 60K and come back down. We may see another bit of a move like that before we see this last leg up. Not making a prediction here, guys. Just saying that for me, I am very, very cautious about predictions at all because of it. But Meep is saying, if it could be 100 to 200K, then maybe that's the case for $20,000 ETH. Maybe. Let's see. Some Goblin Loser says 0x Bitcoin still looks like a heart attack. Yeah, man. Yeah, it does. Right? It's pretty great. I mean, it really is. It's pretty great. We're in a bit of a downward channel, but it's still pretty great as far as the volatility goes, right? Like, that is an oscillating coin that if you're a swing trader, I'm still going to stand by it. It's only like whatever, a $5 million market cap. I think daily volume is something like a few tens of thousands of dollars. But if you have the right size portfolio and you can cover gas fees, it just seems like if it's always doing this, swing trade the crap out of it. Like I'm becoming more emboldened to look at that and think like, what am I doing? Like I could probably learn how to swing trade and then find a few other coins like this and just like, whatever, just nut up and make some trades, like maybe make some money in some of these markets. Maybe. Anyway, yeah, no, I agree with you. It is pretty darn crazy. T-Bone says Seth coin to 50K. If by Seth coin you mean my sub count, that could actually happen. Yeah, we could see that. You guys are my coins, right? You're my treasure. So, and Meep says 0.1 BTC per ETH would be about 10 to 20K for Ethereum. Right? Well, it's funny. I brought this up on around the blockchain today. I'm of the opinion that I don't think we're going to see flippening quite in that way of ETH versus Bitcoin right now. I don't think EIP 1559 is enough to do that against Bitcoin, but it is moving up pretty fast. Yeah, it is. So I don't know. We'll see. I've been wrong before, of course. Witcherwork says Chia, just enough to get my money back. That's my price prediction for Chia. It's awesome. And other price predictions coming in. Meep says Litecoin is just a test net. Well, here's the thing. It's an unofficial test net at that. Bitcoin has a test net. It does. It's got its own built-in test net. So there is kind of that. Yeah, it could be that Litecoin is losing its luster to some investors there. John Clayton is saying maybe after the crypto winter. I can see that. Maybe. I can see a longer tail where Ethereum maybe does have that kind of value against Bitcoin. Maybe. But remember also that when Ethereum launched and if you were part of the ICO, you could have bought 2,000 Ethereum for one Bitcoin. That was the best it ever got. In 2019, or 2019? Yeah, 2019, there was a point at which Ethereum was still at $1,000. Just make sure I'm not pulling numbers out of nowhere. But you got Ethereum right here. Let's go to our all-time chart, or go to maximum chart right here. Maximum chart. No, I'm sorry. It was in 2018. 2018, you're still at over $1,000. There was a bit of crossover at this time where, see, 2018 at $1,000. But within a 1 year period where you had $1,000 Ethereum and you had $3,500 Bitcoin, right? Within, well, and hindsight is 2020. Here's the thing, right? Like we can look at charts from the past, and it doesn't necessarily indicate future performance. My only point is, you had this really weird arbitrage opportunity where if you pegged some of your profits, it was like 3-to-1 almost, depending on your dates, right? Or 6-to-1, depending on your dates. Not very distant dates here between 2018 and oh gosh darn it, what am I thinking here? Closer to $1,000, a little later still in 2018. Like you could have arbitraged a lot of value out of your Ethereum into Bitcoin and not necessarily seen as big a return. So like on the one hand, yeah, your numbers from the ICO date till now are amazing, right? Ethereum is like super, like performed super high. And let me jump farther back. I want to say that really what I'm looking for is the June 2017 chart. Okay, I think that's the point I was actually trying to make. Let me jump over here. Just a fast way to grab this guy. Sorry. Show you my screen too, so you can actually see what I'm looking at. Go back, maximum time here on the Bitcoin chart, and now go to 2017 June. Yep. So in June, you did have better than 0.1 Bitcoin per ETH. But again, we can't time travel back to that point. But I'm just saying, like, so what Meep is saying, like, we've seen it. We've had that ratio before. Like, we've come close to it before, but never since. And never before, right? Because it was 2,000 to 1 before. So, yeah, I don't know what it would take. I don't know what it would take to have that relative value. Like, we talked about it last live stream, too, with Ravencoin, right? Ravencoin being a 1,600 Satoshi coin in 2019. And now, barely getting back over 300 Satoshis per coin, or almost 350, I guess. So I do have a little bit of a concern there. Let's see. Meep saying Ethereum is a platform with real projects. Barry says for Litecoin, $600 maybe. Handyman, ETH to 4K this weekend. Meep saying London hard fork worked. Most don't even realize what that is. Okay, what about selling off Ether starting at 8K? Oh my gosh! At what point to start the sell off? Are you really literally asking me for me to do an exit call, like to give signals for exit? Meep, you know better than that. I love your face, buddy, but you know better than that. So interesting. Gundy saying, so you mean 145% in 2 days? Sure, we can rely on that. Meep saying, come on, Bitcoin 100K. That's conservative. Crypto Youth is saying $80,000 before winter gets here. Okay, maybe. I can maybe see that. Yeah, maybe. Take a look at previous run-ups, like in 2017. And we had, see, from summer, like right now in August 2017, if we just want to use that as a potential example, in 2017, we were over $3,000, and then once we got into winter, let's just say after October, right, or into October, we were almost at double that, right? And yeah, by the end, we did see double that. So yeah, maybe not crazy to think that can happen again, but we do have a lot more institutional suppression, price suppression this cycle too. So guys, I'm just like, I'm not gonna try not to sugarcoat it, right? Everybody is saying that it could go this way or it could go that way. You've got these ultra bears that are saying it's definitely going to do $20,000. I'm not saying that either, right? What I am saying is we've seen weird price suppression from institutions like I don't think we've ever seen before. So when we thought that we were supposed to go up more, we didn't. When we thought that we were supposed to stay at a certain price, we didn't. Weird things have happened. Really weird things have happened this cycle. So Kyle saying new all-time high, all I can predict. Hey, no, I agree with that totally. We will see a new all-time high, but here's the thing. We've already seen an all-time high. And it could be that when we see the next leg up, that we only cross that all-time high and we don't quite get past the six-figure mark, or we barely touch the six-figure mark. And because of institutional price suppression, because they're so eager to buy up our coins that they get us excited and euphoric, they try to get us to sell. We do sell. Or they crush it back down because they want to get cheaper Bitcoin for themselves. Like, that's been their play the entire time, is to try to get the cheapest Bitcoin they can get, which is why we saw price suppression and we were living in that range of between 30 to 40. In fact, when we were living in the range of 50 to 60, you could see it then too. When Bitcoin tried to break out, the institutions wouldn't let it. It was like, all right, we want to hit, well past 60K. Bop, no, you don't do that. Came back down and then back up. And I really do think a lot of that was because of institutions just saying like, no, man, we missed out, didn't we? Shoot. Well, what can we do? Somebody call Jamie Dimon. Like, these people all know each other. Anyway, just my take on it. Crypto Youth again says 80K before winter gets here. All-time high. Beep says, we think Ether will outperform Bitcoin, so I consider a 0.1 BTC per ETH. Oh my gosh. I'm way behind, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm way behind. Gundy says, hodl for life. Meep, shouldn't you take money from the table? Gundy, no guts, no glory, Zeph. Somebody not expecting a crash. Cryptid Youth, mind your facts. And Meep saying shifting between Bitcoin and Ethereum is like gold and silver. Hey, you're really not wrong. As far as it being a really good trading pair, it's been a reliable trading pair for people who are into it. It's not my thing, but people who do stick with Bitcoin versus Ethereum for their trading, they tend to do really well, it seems. As far as like using the products for, what they're supposed to be, the networks for, their intended use, I don't know if you can directly compare them, but strictly as trading pair, sure, that makes sense. Makes a whole lot of sense. And it also goes on to say, I'm unsure if it's not about actual selling to wait for the crash instead of switching between crypto assets. Gundy saying, I think Litecoin is Bitcoin's silver. Oh no, that narrative really needs to die. In my opinion, that narrative just needs to go away, because I don't believe that Litecoin is silver to Bitcoin's gold anymore. Not anymore. I don't think that they're providing enough direct value to Bitcoin to be able to claim that. Because while they've been talking about adding support for Mimblewimble to Litecoin, that conversation is basically stopped in its tracks over on Bitcoin. There is no serious conversation about actually adding Mimblewimble to Bitcoin, even though Litecoin is doing it. So while there was a bit of an unofficial testnet, sort of reserve asset quality silver to Bitcoin's gold quality before, I think that time has passed for Litecoin. I think it's still great at what it does, and there are loyalists who use it as faster, low fee digital cash. But they're old coiners, right? They're people who have heavy bags of Litecoin. Like, a lot of them are millionaires, literally driving around in sports cars and stuff they bought with Litecoin. So I don't know, man. I don't think that it reflects everybody's experience of Litecoin, and I don't think that it quite holds up to the same scrutiny as before. I mean, we'll take a look here, but on CoinGecko, for example, look at the top 10. Where's Litecoin? Not there anymore, guys. It got edged out by Doge, of all projects. It got edged out. Litecoin, I don't know if there's a time that I've looked at the charts that Litecoin wasn't in the top 10 previously, right? It's really been tenacious there. Look at the top 15. There it is, holding on for dear life, just above a stable coin. Ouch. I mean, that said, I don't know, there's Tether, right? Tether, like, really makes a mockery of everybody right there in the top 10. and USD coin too, I guess. But the point is that Litecoin is no longer there. That's all I'm saying. Just not in the top 10 the way it used to be. We could even, I guess we could delete the stable coins. So to take just 1, 2 out of the way, but it would still put it in number 12. So Litecoin not in the top 10 even. I don't know what happened there, guys, but I don't think that I've got a vision for Litecoin being like that thing, that project that people are like, yes, absolutely. So that's just me though. Again, guys, I've got kind of a contrarian view, and I've got this nasty habit of like taking a kettlebell and throwing it through people's belief windows. So sorry, not sorry. Let's see. Gordon, given the red screen of death, Dashnik says lockdown equals 80K. Ooh. I feel like Yashnik is he's cluing into something that may be more impactful and more important than a lot of us have been talking about so far. Because when there are real world events that inform the narrative and that increase fear in other markets, there tends to be a flight to hard assets like gold, like silver, like Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. Like we saw this last year too. How there were more new wallets being made as people found that they were restricted in other ways, right? So, Yashnik, I think you're onto something there. I think that may be the thing that pops us into the 80K range, that gets us to discover that new all-time high on Bitcoin. And you can't schedule things like that. You can't plan stuff like that. It doesn't tidily fall into a chart like the rainbow chart. You can't just know for sure that a black swan event is going to happen. It wouldn't be a black swan event if you did. So weird. Anyway, so T-Bone's saying, I see prices drop before Christmas, then to the moon in the new year. Yeah, it could be that it isn't just a calendar year thing. Maybe it is a 2022 thing. Maybe we're off. We're off the beaten path. Like we're no longer on a schedule, as mentioned before. BPK is saying April 2020 in USD, Bitcoin 8,700, ETH 220. Yeah, it was so lopsided. Thank you for the reality check there. It was way lopsided then. Just big time. Mark Allen is here in the chat. Hey, Mark, I want you to know that the only other version of this, because this was the test cut here. This little topper, it's coming to Mark, who won our 10,000 subscriber giveaway, and also has some hardware for mounting it directly to a hard drive, so that's easier for you. Has some heat sinks, has a 30 millimeter fan, and then also has a little bit of like a thermal pad that will allow you to assemble a thing so your temps are always really, really cool. But it's a full kit. I was gonna send you the topper, but I was like, you know what? That's not very cool. That's not very nice. I'm gonna send him the full kit so he can just like put it all together, drop the Raspberry Pi there, and have it all linked directly to an SSD. So that is en route. And I don't know if I emailed you tracking, but I don't even know if I have tracking for that one. But it's yeah, that's coming first class mail. So USPS. He's saying, I think we will see 100K. Cool. He's saying they suppress it so they can buy more. Yep. Totally agree. Barry is saying, I think Bitcoin may go up to 60K next year, but mostly stay flat versus the US dollar. And Barry brings in yet another variable that's extremely important for us to acknowledge. The cost of everything. You know how much more just food costs right now? That's really how we're expressing inflation here in the United States. So yeah, we may see that it doesn't matter what the US dollar value of Bitcoin looks like on paper if we don't take into account the fact that US dollar as a unit of account is being debased and inflated. So the real price of Bitcoin, yeah, I don't know. That's another variable to take into account. Well, we may see a sticker price of 80K or 100K that may in the real world mean that it only has an actual value in terms of consumer buying power of the dollar. It may only have a real world value of close to what it hit as all-time high in this most recent rally up to 64K. So you make a really good point, Barry. That's great. Me was saying to Gundy, fair argument. Somehow Litecoin is the silver. Yes, historically in any case. And yeah, so you guys know my thoughts on that. I think historically that's been true, but it's kind of, they've taken separate paths. Crypto Youth saying USD won't be worth much, so not saving much. Solid plan there. T-Bone is saying Litecoin is kind of more like copper. Yeah, it is useful. It is useful. That's true. But you need to have it in bulk. Barry, stablecoin farming in DeFi is going to keep getting popular. Heck yeah, it is. People who are after yield and then just drawing profits in stablecoins, it's been huge. It's been absolutely huge. Plenty of Bitcoin whales who I've talked to privately and Ethereum whales who I've talked to privately, they've totally admitted to like, yeah, I'm doing yield farming so I can grow more stablecoins in this wallet. Because they were easier for them to just like know at a glance what the value of their portfolio is, which is weird because it's slower yield. It's like when people are doing money market accounts in the 90s and stuff, like this stuff changes. It could be that, you know, in another couple of years, the whole like yield farming craze with stablecoins, it might not even be available anymore, or the percentages will be so low that it's just not attractive anymore. So we'll see. But I think you're right. It's very popular. Probably be worth it. Gundy saying Litecoin never let me down on the long hodl. That's cool, man. You know, can't argue with that. People who've had it for long term, people who've had any of these coins long term, seem to have done pretty well. Like over several years, over more than 5 years, certainly, everybody's doing great with various coins. Meep saying we want financial advice with exact price targets, times, and your written signature in blood, Seth. Also, please flash your social security number on the screen. Thanks. Bye. Crypto Youth says, oh my gosh. Guys, I cannot seem to keep up. No, I'm almost there. Crypto Youth says, wait till Doge Chia edges it out. Awesome, man. But here's the thing. It's got to be Doge Chia launched as a BEP20 on Binance Smart Chain. Otherwise, why even bother? Witcherwork says, whatever coin has the most value of utilization will determine the coins that last. I think that's a pretty good metric. Yeah, it needs to be useful. It really does. In some way or another. Mark Allen says, it's funny that Doge edged out Litecoin. Yeah, right? Unreal. Cost of ASIC mining Litecoin is still fairly low, says Barry. Kyle. Corvid crash. Yep. Gundy, Brew, ready for that Black Swan. Bring it on. Gundy mentions hyperinflation. Anyone? Yep. Gundy, one Bitcoin will always be one Bitcoin. But here's the thing. How many Big Macs will one Bitcoin buy? That's always the question. The Big Mac Index. What have we done with it, guys? Let me bring something up before... I do need to wrap pretty soon. But before I let you guys go tonight, the show's not over yet. Don't look away. Yeah, you. I saw you. In fact, hit the thumbs up. Share this mug. We're going to look up the Big Mac Index if you're not familiar with it. Very important thing to just be aware of in terms of the power of consumers in USD. The Big Mac Index, it's right here on Wikipedia. We can use that definition if we want to. BigMacIndex.org. So, Big Mac Index, basic. What the heck? Now they're selling it as a spreadsheet. You greedy capitalists, you. It's actually pretty awesome. I'm not even mad. That's just interesting. We're not going to buy it here on stream though, but yeah, for $14, I don't think the price is right. Anyway, but the Big Mac Index, The Economist will just give us a little breakdown here. It basically showed over time what the cost of a Big Mac's was, and for different currencies, right? So British pound shows us roughly how many Big Macs $1 would buy you, and how many Big Macs a British pound would buy you, how many Big Macs now a euro would buy you, or whatever, South African rand or a Brazilian real. And it also took into account the regional differences of this stuff. Cryptid Youth coming with the Adam Sandler quotes. He's got a little Happy Gilmore quote down there. So, which I can't repeat. Sorry, man. It was good though. But we got the Russian ruble down here. There you go. Rupee. Wow. The hryvnia, the Hong Kong dollar, all this stuff, right? See that? They're all undervalued. US dollar might be the standard because we use that as a unit of account, guys. Anybody who's ever telling you that Bitcoin is being used as a unit of account is not right in the head. Nobody uses Bitcoin as a unit of account. I love Bitcoin. I love it for what it does, but I don't hate it for what it doesn't do. Right? And what it doesn't do right now is act as a unit of account. Just, it's like being in a weird, it's like being married to something, right? You got to stop being so judgy. Eyes wide open, like, okay, I see all the flaws and stuff, but I'm sticking around anyway. That's us with Bitcoin right now. It doesn't do unit of account very well. We tend to talk about things in the US dollar only because it winds up being a really solid indicator for what your consumer buying power is. That's the only reason. Again, using that other analogy, we're kind of like, we're forcefully married, like whatever. We were all made child brides to the US dollar. We were forced to marry that. We didn't really have much of a choice. Regardless of where we were in the world, we were kind of forced to reconcile with the fact that the US dollar will become this standard, right? So it is the unit of account. It's frustrating as all get out, but it is the unit of account. So it's helpful to look at the Big Mac index because it helps us just, in our minds, right, get divorced from the US dollar. And like Gundy's saying, 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin, which is great. You got to ask, what is the consumer buying power of 1 Bitcoin? If we want to erase the dollarization of our minds, we got to come up with some other standard. And I think the Big Mac index is pretty cool, right? It's pretty good. Cryptid Youth says, can I get fries with that? Buddy, I haven't worked at McDonald's for like 3 weeks. Have you seen the price of Bitcoin recently? Can I get fries with that? I mean, probably. You pay a little more. Anyway, so yeah, we see here that it's just a way of assigning value based on consumer buying power. Otherwise, what are we even talking about value for? What are you going to transfer the value into? Is it going to go into real estate? Fine. You got to come up with a dirt index, right? If you're looking at unimproved real estate, are you going into improved real estate? Fine. You got to look into like a cost per apartment or cost per door, right? The way real estate agents and real estate investors talk about it. It's just different. Oh, guys, this is a thing of beauty. Gundy and the DCA crew are going live in 10 minutes. Let's go ahead and let's wrap it up in 10. We'll keep it here. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. We're going to go raid them in just a minute here. But yes, Cryptid Youth, I challenge you for the dad jokes crown. Good luck. Good luck. I can take any one of those tangents you throw at me and I can turn it into a full-on vector. So yeah, man, we're gonna go raid DCA guys in just a minute here. But for right now, Real News 2020 says, "What's up, Bitcoin homies and misguided S-coin holders?" Yeah, how are you gonna house your miners without real estate? Oh, it's easy, man. You just put a tarp over them, and you get this just a coffee can with cement in it and a stick, and you hit the ground until it's really, really smooth, almost like concrete, but it's free. It's just dirt. Anyway, with the Big Mac index, you choose a base currency, euro. Why do I sound like a regular show? Ham boning. Give me a euro, loser. All right, so Big Mac cost, there you go, in Great Britain costs 349 quid. 349 quid, isn't it? So, yes. But also 427 in euros. And it shows you this is the price of the Big Mac itself against that currency. What I would love to do is I'd love to have some sort of a consumer, like not the consumer price index, but choose one thing that shows you the consumer price over time for Bitcoin, not the dollar, right? Because as we've come up with a couple times in this conversation, there's something about it that is really not right in using the dollar because we know it's being debased through overprinting, right? Fed printer go brrr, not good. And it's being inflated. Both. They're two separate actions, right? Debased and inflated. It's like, it's the 1-2 punch just of like from hell. We're getting so beat up by the US dollar right now. And we don't even see it anymore, right? And we're being told that it's not the case. We're being gaslit about the whole thing too. Like, there is no inflation. Things are great. Where did I put my ice cream? We don't know. Yeah, we don't know. So we need to know what the Bitcoin, like what Bitcoin as a standard is buying us as consumers, as people. It's just a helpful metric. right? Looking forward to hyper Bitcoinization at some point in the future. Man, I don't. You guys have heard me go on record before. I don't know if I see a future where hyper Bitcoinization means that I'm sending stuff to you on layer 1 instead of dollars. I'm happy to accept dollars right now, or rather to accept Bitcoin right now. In fact, we do that on the Mind Your Biz store right now. Oh my gosh, funny story, by the way. I had somebody actually ask me to send them one of these guys for testing and evaluation. He's like, oh, I want to review this for my blog. And I'm like, oh, cool. Send me a link to your blog. He was like, oh, I don't actually have one yet. I'm going to launch it. Why'd you ask? What? Okay. Whatever. But the point is, so I'm happy to accept Bitcoin right now. I am. But if I put the price in Bitcoin, half the people who came here would say, huh? What? I don't even understand. Like, what do you mean that much Bitcoin? The amount of education that would need to take place in order for people to view Bitcoin as a unit of account specifically, even if you're willing to just accept it as a medium of exchange. The unit of account issue is kind of a problem. Hey, yo, we got Mark Allen, pay me in Bitcoin, right? Russ Okung is, you're doing him proud, right? Guys, oh my gosh, let me show you something. Be right back. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. We were really close to just holding these stickers in the Mind Your Biz store, right? Isn't that dope? But then Bitcoin ran up and I was like, oh my gosh, it might actually be a liability to have that on my car. Right? It's like, if you have this on your car, people will be like, hey, it doesn't even matter if it's a nice car. Like, he's not driving a nice car because he's got Bitcoin. Oh my gosh, we should go like stop by his house, right? Go pay him a visit. So I got a little bit worried about actually using this out in public, but we were thinking about just having them in the store. Anyway, let me know if you guys like that idea. Point is, I'm happy to accept Bitcoin, right? I'm happy to be paid in Bitcoin when clients want to pay me in Bitcoin. When I do freelance work, happy to receive Bitcoin. Yeah, Real News 2020 is like, all right, now we know why he's got that fancy phone, because all his Bitcoin is on that fancy phone, the privacy phone. It's not, but yeah. So yeah, I'm happy to accept Bitcoin. And I know a lot of members of this audience too are happy to do work in Bitcoin. And it doesn't matter what work you do, right? Like, you can be a tax preparer. You can do any number of the trades, right? An attorney, whatever else. Real News. Nah, we love you too much. Also, you're a mean looking dude. Do you think I'm mean looking? Yeah, try taking a poke at me. I'm trained, but I kid though. I love you guys. I'm a lover, not a fighter. Unless it's paid. I don't fight for free though. So, but yeah, any number of us, like, happy to receive payment in Bitcoin, right? Or some other cryptocurrencies to then go exchange for Bitcoin on our own, right? Because we know how to do that. We know how to handle that. But most people get hung up on the medium of exchange side, or the store of value side. Fees are as low as they've been in a while. Oh, Nicholas, Seth versus BitBoy. Dude, I don't think that that's something anybody really wants to see. Not really. BitBoy's a cool dude. What? BitBoy's a cool dude. And again, I think if I know Ben well enough, he would probably say the same thing. He doesn't fight for free. So, and nobody can afford us. As far as like, hey, we want to see a paid fight between two people on YouTube. Really though? Really? You can see UFC for free, and they're actually pros. So whatever. Yashnek is saying, I need stickers. Well, they are laser cut. So it just like, it goes right around the edges of the Bitcoin logo and the pay me. It has the correct angle of the Bitcoin B. You're never supposed to put Bitcoin fully upright. I have it here because it's meant to be a trompe-l'oeil, but Bitcoin, after the original BitBoy, the guy who made the Bitcoin logo, little Bitcoin history for you. The person on Bitcoin Talk who made the current version of the Bitcoin logo had the nickname BitBoy. So, yeah, I think Ben accidentally took that because he didn't know. But yeah, it's supposed to be at an angle. So, Nicholas, we could certainly make a crowdsourcing to make that happen. Guys, I don't think, it's funny. Nicholas, I'm all in. Will you coach me too? That's the thing, man. My ground game it's not exactly weak, but been a while since I've rolled seriously with intent. More of a striker these days. It's easier for an old man to stand up and strike. But even though you get tired. Anyway, guys, we're nearing the end of tonight's live stream. Definitely appreciate your support. If you haven't checked out the Freedom Phone, it's something that I'm focused on right now. I'm definitely looking at renaming it. I want to distance myself from this name. If you got suggestions for that, cool, let me know. But hey, we got Wayne Autry saying, speaking of BitBoy, found you earlier on his channel. New sub here, catching up on your content. Thanks. I appreciate that. Welcome aboard. Guys, if you would be so kind, I'm open to suggestions on a name that helps to capture the spirit of cryptocurrency people like us, people who are into proof of work mining, who are into holding our own keys, who are into hard money like Bitcoin, who are into knowing which coins to mine, being really conscious of what we're doing in cryptocurrency and taking responsibility for the dangerous freedom that comes with cryptocurrency. That's why I went out of my way to look for the components that make this device, this phone. I'd love your feedback on what to call it. And I don't know, anybody who's actually going out of their way to buy one too would probably be listened to a little sooner. But I appreciate everybody's feedback. If all you can do is give me a suggestion for a good name, really appreciate it. I would really, really appreciate it. Let me double check on YouTube really fast before I let you go, because we're not quite done yet. I would absolutely love your assistance. But in the live stream comments, I'm going to leave, if you're here live, leave a link to the DCA Adventure live stream. They're getting started any second now. Let's raid them in just a second, guys. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. Thanks for hitting the like button, being subscribed if you're a lurker. There's more great content coming. We appreciate your input. We love having this interaction. Really, really, really thank you. You're the reason I make this media. I love your face. Remember to stay private. And before you mind your biz, go check out DCA Adventure. Catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. If you want to be notified of videos like this in the future, first off, click subscribe, press the bell icon. Additionally, you can sign up for the Mind Your Biz email newsletter. That'll give you exclusive access to certain freebies, notifications for deals within the cryptocurrency mining space, as well as some of our flash sales for merchandise, which you can buy with cryptocurrency. That's right. It's the only cryptocurrency merch that you can buy with cryptocurrency. We practice what we preach. As always, thank you so much for watching. You're the reason I make this media. I love your face, and I will see you in the next one.